Yo, look, folks. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this. Legit, 2021 has gone insane already. And I'm going to rant about it in the entire beginning of this episode. And I'm probably going to make it an hour long. So get ready for another 1 hour episode of Venture on a Quote, or we don't know why. So it seems that everything really do be hopping off and happening. Dude, we're not even 10 days into 2021, and it feels like we're already done, down, and defeated, but not really. Folks, I am serious, I'm not kidding at all. Already these days, it feels nothing as if nothing has changed, except the month or the year or every cheer that we used to have. Oh, I tell you, they prize replies. Holy! And I mean holy. You know, I rant about a lot of stuff on this channel. I rant about a lot of stuff. Alright? And, you know, for the most part, I'd say it makes sense. So, you know, some of my rants on this channel, like kind of last episode, they're kind of just about, like, things that I feel like nobody thinks about. But, you know, that's just me. I don't know, man. I have some pretty interesting rants on this channel, alright? In this series, in fact. And, like I said, I have some pretty interesting ones. And, you know, some of them make sense. Some of them I, like, well, some of them, pretty much all of them, I kind of jumble up my words and mess up my stories and whatnot. But overall, they kind of always make sense. Kind of. So, and look, I'm not going to give y'all a 13-minute explanation that's going to lead to the topic that I'm going to rant on about for the first 30 minutes. But... no, not but because this situation, alright, the stuff that I've heard and that I've seen in the past half day, really, because, like, I'm not recording this the night of, January 5th. Like, dude, I'm recording this before dinner, which is 6 p.m. EST, alright? Your man's over here, I finished school, like, 2 hours ago, been playing Minecraft, alright? Been listening to Scrubby, Scrubby, you know, same thing, different channels. My point is, right, I've been listening to stuff, and it's good, right? It's good. That's not what I'm necessarily trying to get to, but... I've had a pretty chill day, alright? And for the past 2 days, or past 3, 4, kind of every episode, I think, after Polar Nights was recorded and has been recorded at night. Like most of these episodes have. And yeah, hold on, I need to get my mind intact, because I need to change this really quickly. Alright, so, going back to what I was saying. This year's been crazy already, alright? Because look, I recorded last episode last night. It came out early this morning in my time zone, at least. But my point is, today, Monday? No, God, it's Wednesday. Today, Wednesday, alright? It's been, like I said, not even a full day. And just so much. I've learned so much today. And I've seen and I've heard so much that, dude, I need to talk about it, alright? I need to talk about it. And honestly, I think the center of it all, alright, the center of it all, is that I've kind of just cut myself off from, really a lot of, media. So if you don't know, I kind of cut myself off from watching the Dream SMP, around like 2 weeks ago, as I really wanted to focus on other stuff. And I want to spend time with my family for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And ever since then, I haven't really watched it. And I kind of left around the time where the whole Tommy in it and Technoblade team up arc started. And I kind of just left it be. You know, every other day or so, I would hear like, oh yeah, Tommy reached 4 million subscribers, or like the best of Tommy in it 2020, or like I heard some things, or like, and then I also heard like there was gonna be a war, a kidnapping, a betrayal, and then like that's all cool and stuff, right? Like just the normal thing, you know what I mean? But dude, I don't know what it was about yesterday. In fact, even today, I don't know what it was about. And look, this has got to be like the smallest thing. Like, this is going to be one of 3 topics, or 2 topics, that I'm kind of just freaking out over. But yesterday, apparently, there was, like, this huge war, right? Like, a massive war, where, and I can't even explain to you what's happening at this point, because, look, I've watched the Dream SMP for a while, quite a while, right? And look, even I don't know what the hell's going on. Alright, and that's a clear-cut sign that it's just gotten so confusing. So, let me explain this to you, right? So, according to some thumbnails that I've seen, right? According to, like, clips to clip channels that I'm subscribed to, right? Apparently, Tommy in it, Technoblade, went over to L'Manberg, kind of just blew up the whole place, I think. Apparently, they teamed up with Rambo. Rambo betrayed Tubbo, and Tubbo became friends with Tommy because Tommy was going to side with L'Manberg and didn't want to side with Technoblade, so he betrayed Technoblade, and Rambo betrayed Tubbo, and then Tubbo betrayed Tommy's trust by giving his disc to Dream, and then Dream apparently is now with Techno. And apparently today there was like a huge battle that's gonna go on, and look, even though what I just said isn't a lot, like, not a lot, but like, even though what I've said isn't like, oh my god, that's insane, oh my lord, to some people, or maybe my point is that it's, a lot of stuff has just happened there, and it's funny because it's like, funny, man. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, I leave for 2 weeks. Like, legit, I missed 8 Tommy and It streams. 8, right? One of them wasn't even, like, based on the Dream SMP, and apparently I've missed an entire, like, season. Like, dude, what the hell? Like, dude, last time I heard Tommy teamed up with Techno, and Techno was like, welcome home, Theseus, And then now I'm hearing that everyone betrayed each other, and now friendships are being ruined. And, you know, and if you think, you know, if you don't think that whole thing is crazy, if you're not a huge fan of the Dream SMP, well, apparently, also on the same day, and I kid you, on the same day, Saddest uploaded like her next animation for the Dream SMP, and it's called Dawn of 16th, which is a reference to the finale of what some people call season 1, or like the L'Manberg arc or whatever. And so here's the funny thing, right? And here's really I guess the main thing that just made me be like, what is happening this year, right? So, okay, imagine this, all right? And I want you to understand, if y'all haven't watched Saddest, if y'all are not a big fan of the Dream SMP, put it in this perspective, right? Imagine you have imagine there's this content creator that's really creative and that you, like, are really, like, you're a huge fan of them, but they barely upload it. But whenever they upload it, they upload an absolute banger, like Mr. Beast. Like Mr. Beast, I'm pretty sure like everybody likes Mr. Beast, right? So, imagine Mr. Beast, uploads a new banger, and you're super hyped up, right? Like you're incredibly hyped up. You're watching the video, and you drop a like, you drop a subscribe. No, because you've already. Anyway, my point is that you're like, dude, this is awesome. New Mr. Beast video, Pog. He's gonna give, like, I don't know, $10 trillion to solve world hunger. That would be awesome, actually. Mr. Beast, could you solve world hunger? That'd be pretty PogChamp. But my point is, right? Imagine he uploads that like another banger, right? But then also imagine this. All right, on the same day that Mr. Beast releases this absolute banger of a video, right? He's also like, I don't know. You also hear that, like, man, you also hear that, like, famous YouTuber, whatever, famous Twitch streamer that's had like 1 million viewers or a dedicated fan base, not for like 1 year, 2 years, for like 15 years, even though that's technically not possible because I don't think Twitch has been live that long. But let's say a content creator, an internet content creator, is being bashed, just destroyed by his fan base because of false accusations, and it's a huge thing. And there's gonna, I guess there's let's say there's like lawsuits and this and that, and it's crazy, right? But again, on this same day, a new banger of Mr. Beast video comes out, right? And the video, like, imagine you're in the middle. Like, imagine you're the person. That's gonna make sense. Imagine you're the content creator that's had a dedicated fan base, for whatever you do, for, like, ages upon ages. And then you're, like, trapped in this scandal. And then, your life is sort of just ruined. And you're a fan of Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, like, you're a fan of Mr. Beast. And he uploads a video, right? Actually, no, it would be better to say... Oh, God, look, folks, what did I say about my rants? They're all messy, ain't they? Okay, instead of being like, hated by your entire fan base, let's just say you're having a pretty, like, sucky day. Alright, let's just say you're having a pretty sucky day, and you hear about your friends... like having a really good time. Like you're looking through Instagram or whatever, right? Twitter, I don't know. And you're looking at pictures of your friends having a good time without you in freaking Tijuana or whatever, right? And then you decide, oh man, I kind of just want to look up some sad lo-fi on YouTube, that sad lo-fi at 1 a.m. type beat. Y'all know what I mean? Great. And so you pop, you pop out your phone, you go on YouTube, and then the first thing that you see before you search up sad lo-fi 1 a.m. type beats, you see, like, the trailer to the next Star Wars movie, or to, like, I don't know, just, like, the best thing ever, right? Like, you see the trailer for the next greatest movie, like, or, like, the next season of, I don't know, what's a highly anticipated show that needs a second season? I guess, like, season 2 of No Game, No Life, or, like, season 4 of Memoria Freese, or, you know, just a really cool trailer for something, like, even The Mandalorian season 3, like, something like, whoa, that's crazy, dude, that's absolutely insane, right? But you find this out, right? You find out this information, like, after this terrible day that you've had, well, not terrible day, but, like, seeing all your friends having a good time, right? And you look at this video, and it's, like, 1 in the morning, alright? It's 1 in the morning, you're about to go to sleep, you're really tired, and you see this in your YouTube recommended, like, trailer for the greatest movie of all time, right? And you're like, huh, what? And so you watch the trailer, it's like, okay, that's super cool. And then you go to sleep, right? So that's kind of just the start of this whole thing. Like, I don't know. I'm probably, like, over-exaggerating, because I do that. A lot of people do that. But, I don't know, man. Like, staying up until 1 in the morning, right? Like, I put this in your mind, right? Homeboy played Minecraft for, like, 3 hours last night, alright? I decided to go to bed. And as I'm going to bed, like, I'm listening to Scrubby roast Karens, alright? And I'm going on my phone, and I legit see new saddest animation. And I'm like, it was uploaded an hour ago, like at 12 a.m., alright? Like, peak midnight here in the US. Or at least in EST. And I'm like, what? Like, Homegirl legit just uploaded, the next Avengers movie, alright? Like, Avengers 5 up in here. At the middle of the night. and I was fortunate enough to see it, and I'm like, the fuck? I was like, what? And so I thought it was just really strange, you know? And so. That's the beginning of this whole thing, right? So I go to bed, you know, I'm vibing as I sleep. And then I wake up this morning, right? You know, I'm kind of late to class, but not really. So, you know, I sit on my chair, you know, I start logging into my online class. You know, first period is pretty cool. I'm kind of tired, so I just, you know, not drop out, but, like, you know, I turn off my camera, I turn off this, because, you know, we're just given an assignment, and, you know, it's like, okay, I'll do the assignment later, right? By the way, I still haven't done that assignment, so, yeah. Anyway. So, you know, that class goes by, I'm taking a little bit of a nap, because, you know, I kind of didn't sleep after being like, yo, homie, a new saddest animation, that's pretty pog-champ. But the thing is that I actually wasn't like that. I mean, sure, I was surprised, but dude, I saw that animation and I'm like, wow, that was cool. I'm gonna go to bed now. And then I just did not care about it for the rest of the day. Like, even up till now, but even, yeah. Anyway, so, second period starts, right? And, you know, my second period is sort of like the one class out of all of the classes that hasn't changed. Like, in my ever-changing, like, schedule. And, you know, I have a really good teacher in that class, you know, I have some, there's some pretty cool peeps in that class, right? And within, like, the first 10 minutes, or even before we start learning, you know, not learning Spanish, but, you know, doing work, we hear we hear the words, so the superintendent of my, of like the education board of my county, um, basically says, basically said, like, I don't know if it was in the last 2 days or yesterday or this morning, but apparently he said that, that you better come back to school in person, or you're gonna be kicked out. He didn't really state when this would be in effect. I think he said it would be next week. And when you just woke up, had breakfast, kind of skipped the first period, and took some naps while listening to Scrubby continue to roast Karens, and then you got back ready to, you got back to learning, and you're ready to, do some Spanish stuffs, only to hear the words, if you don't come to school maybe next week, in person, then you're gonna be kicked out and possibly not graduate. He didn't add the possibly not graduate thing, but still, dude, I just woke up from 5 naps, alright, and you're telling me that that I'm not gonna be able to graduate. So this is another so this is really the continuation of this absolute insanity that my life has been through since last episode. And so I got a lot to tell you with this, man. I honestly wish I didn't have to rant about this again. But I've kind of been ranting about, school stuff, ever since, senior year started. So, I mean, why wouldn't I? But yeah, so I'm seeing as I'm pretty sure I rant too much for my own good. There was a rant, there was a subject that I ranted on about, few months ago, probably in October of last year. I don't exactly remember, the specific day or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I remember at one point I had talked about this insane law, or not law, but this insane plan, or not insane, stupid plan that the superintendent of my school board had put in place, which was basically that, I'm gonna make a plan to make it safe for students to get back in school, back to in-person learning is what they call it, right? And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. You can do that, right? I personally don't want to go back, back then. Because COVID is still a hot topic and all, you know what I mean? But, that's pretty cool if, that you're making a bit of a plan. And so we had, I had first heard of this plan, in my algebra class with my old algebra teacher, Miss Rizzo. And we had talked about stuff, right? We had talked, right? We had a bit of a discussion about the whole situation, about this plan that he'd released and how absurd it was. And to basically summarize the plan, or at least the absurd parts of it. So basically, the plan was okay, in-person learning, you gotta wear your masks to class, your seats are gonna be separated from each other, or desks are gonna be separated from each other, and, you're gonna see your teacher, you're gonna see your friends. Obviously, you can't, physically interact with anyone. You have to stay 5 feet with, in between each other. That's fine. That's fine. But here's the thing, all right? And here's the really stupid thing. Man's like, okay, so yeah, we're gonna bring students back for in-person learning. But maybe let's not do that at the same time and have them use computers at the school in the classroom in which they're in with the teacher that they're seeing on the computer screen that's also in the room. It's stupid. It makes no sense because it's online learning, but they're at the school. Only they're at the school. I don't know, man. That's kind of dumb in my perspective. All right, this is my hot take, by the way. Like y'all can form y'all own opinions, but this is my hot take on all this stuff. That's just ridiculous, and it gets even more ridiculous. So, basically, it also states in the plan. Well, actually, I don't know if it was in the plan or if it was in a separate statement, but he basically said, okay. Also, since some students will be coming back for in-person learning, we're also going to ask that some teachers come back in as well. And if they don't want to come back in to teach the students, they can basically just, how do I put it lightly? How can I put this lightly? Kind of just resign and never come back. And so I'm like, huh. And here's the other thing, right? He basically stated, okay, so if the teachers don't want to teach in person, then they gotta resign, right? And the other thing is that if you're a teacher who does want to teach in person, if you wind up getting sick, yeah, we're not going to release you. You're going to still work as a teacher in person. And on top of this, right, and if you think that's messed up, listen to this, right? The mans was really expecting all the teachers across the county to come back, right? When he said this statement, all right? And I'm not sure if it's specific, I'm not quoting it, but, this is what I remember, right? And I remember it quite clearly because we had a 1 hour and 35-minute discussion about the whole thing in algebra, all right? Algebra. The furthest thing from politics? I don't know. Anyway, my point is, oh my god. This man legit said, alright, this man, like I said, this man legit thought that he was going to get all of his teachers on his side and that all teachers were going to come back. And on top of that, he said, alright, so basically, if you already have an illness or a disability or a this or a that, or if you have a family member that's I don't know, suffering from COVID, you're either going to have to come back in, or you're either going to have to leave your friends and family and put aside your disorder or your sickness aside completely in a second and, continue to work as a teacher. Or you can just resign. And I know that I already said the resign part, but the man doesn't even give him a vacation. In the sense of dude, if teachers' families are hurting, and if they're the only people that can help them, and if the teachers don't want to get COVID, and if the teachers don't want the students to get COVID from them, it makes sense, right? But the fact that this guy has the absolute balls to say, hey, I don't care if you have a sickness or a disability or and I don't care if it's going to be affected or you will be affected by physical in-person learning. I want you to come back. And dude, believe me, there was a whole lot more to it then, but to sum it up, like, I think half the school's teachers just left. And because of that, I kind of, like, lost half my teachers that I already knew in the class. And so that kind of sucked. But, folks, the story continues. Because here's the other thing. And before that little story ends, I need to talk about this other little bit, right? Oh my god, I can't even with this. So, this is a really good idea back then. This was a really, really good idea back then, and I was really, really happy for it. And the idea was, and this was also in the plan, that they were gonna send out a survey for students and parents to look at and to fill out, stating whether their student or whether their son or daughter or whatever wanted to continue online learning or transfer to in-person learning. And, that was cool. I'm glad that we got the option. But the other thing that was said in that was that they'd have to stick with that until January, in which we would give another survey and whether the child and whether the student wanted to continue online learning or if they wanted to switch to in-person learning. And he also stated in this pamphlet that, okay, on top of this, like, not on top of this, but like, what was I gonna say? Students oh no, hold on. Students. Oh yeah, that we do a survey again in January of whether the students are not wanted to continue to go to online or transfer to in-person learning. And depending on the situation of COVID, that survey would be sent out, or they would just forcefully bring every student back for in-person learning. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's obvious that, like, back then, I was, back in good old October. Man's tried to really speak Spanish and failed when he speaks. Okay. And at the time, I'm like, okay, they're not going to do this because COVID is just starting, sure, sure, we got a vaccine, like, last month, but, it's still here, not everyone's cured. Is it even certified as a vaccine? I don't know. But, it's still here, it's not gone, right? And so, I'm over here thinking back then, there's no way they're gonna force everyone back into the school, right? I mean, it's just not possible. But man's over here had to be like, yo, this man's over here had to just completely ignore COVID was a thing, and how cases are rising in my state still. And be like, yo, I think we should open up schools now. It's January 2021. I think we should open up schools. I think kids should be back. And, you know, even though you're like, you're probably like, well, that's kind of dumb. You know, what about the survey? We're still going to get a survey, I think. But here's that I'm really pissed off about. All right, like, here's what's really triggering. And before I continue, I'm probably not going to do the event this episode, because I genuinely am going to need the whole hour of this episode to just rant on about this, because this is legitimately absurd. The reasoning, alright, the reasoning for Mr. Superintendent to say, yo, homies, I'm sorry, dog, but I gotta... Why did I start talking like that? Y'all gotta go back to in-person learning. Because over 1,000 students, and I'm not lying, over 1,000 students in the county, or in the state, but I'm pretty sure in the county, no joke, no scam, failed the first semester. Now, at the time, you know, the time being this morning, I was like, 1,000 students, eh? Like, that's pretty crazy. And I didn't really think about it later, until I had a heated debate, not really, a heated conversation with my mom about it. Like, not in a heated, it wasn't like we were yelling or anything, but we were really, like, into the subject, and so that's why I call it heated, because it was like my point is, and look, alright? At the time I didn't think about it, but basically this man's was saying, alright? 1,000, so the reason why, and I'm gonna have to rephrase this because you really gotta understand the absurdity. 1,000 kids, right, failed the first semester. And that sucks for a lot of people. That I feel bad for them. Well, no, I mean, I don't feel bad for them because, I didn't feel bad for them this morning when I first heard it, because it's like, come on, guys. Like, come on. But here's the thing, alright? Man said 1,000 kids failed. But whose fault do you think it is? Now, a lot of people, alright, a lot of people assume things, and I'm one of them, right? A lot of people, like, in history, just assume things. Like, when you first see a person, think about them sometimes, it's just normal. You know what I mean? But to assume the reason why 1,000 kids failed the first semester because of online school is because of online learning is kind of stupid. And let me explain why. Online learning is very, very new to a lot of people. Millions of students across not only the state, not only the country, but across the world. It's a very new thing. And the fact that, we haven't even been learning online for a year, and they legit just expect everything to be perfect for people. And, this isn't just for kids, but, for, parents and for teachers especially. I mean, I really got to give them credit. Like, man, I mean, they out here really, like, learning stuff more than they really should about technology, all right? Like, dude, the fact that we actually got to use, like, a multitude of apps just to be able, like, a multitude of softwares and apps just to be able to interact with teachers online, and also and still have problems is insane. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, I gotta give him credit, right? But here's the stupid thing, all right? Here's the ridiculous thing. To say that 1,000 students failed the first quarter because of online stuff is kind of stupid. Because while yes, it's probably 100% true, it's also really not. Because you gotta take into account that most of those students were probably, most of the students that failed were probably on vacation. And that's what he said, like, oh yeah, most of our students are on vacation. It's like, okay, yeah, they're on vacation. And, they should be able to log into their classes while on vacation. And it's like, they should be able to do that. I mean, my cousins came over a few months back, and, I mean, they did their classes here. So, I mean, if they did it, anyone can do it, right? But I don't think what the superintendent, or, like, the board in general, kind of, put together was that the reason why students failed, or why so many students failed the first quarter or the first semester, wasn't just because, oh, they're lazy, or, oh, we're on vacation. But guys, call me crazy. Call me call me brain dead, alright? But maybe, alright? Maybe, alright? Call me a genius, if you will, even though that's the opposite of brain dead. But hear me out. What if the reason why a lot of those people, and look, I don't mean to be grim, but what if a lot of those students, the reason why they didn't show up and do online was maybe because, I don't know, issues in the family, family members passing away, maybe they have COVID, maybe like network problems, internet problems, money problems, just life problems, mental problems, money problems. I mean, I can really list a lot. And I don't think they really accounted for that fact. Which is really funny. And why it's really funny is because 2020 for me was sort of a year, I feel like, for everybody to self-reflect on themselves. I felt like 2020 was that kind of year where, you pause your video game and you're sort of just staring at the loading or like staring at the menu screen or screen. Like that's kind of what 2020 felt like for me, just staring at a menu screen. I'm sure I had a lot of fun in 2020 with, new people that I met and this and that, but still, like, legit just looking at it at the main menu of Minecraft for like a full year, legit what it was, right? And while you're looking at that screen, you're just self-reflecting, man. I mean, you're listening to sad lo-fi at 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 in the morning, and you're listening to that music, you're crying, you're regretting life choices, you want to get in contact with people, and then people really, really were down. I mean, look, I Look, I don't mean to be a bit of a memer here, but all I'm saying is that in 2019, depression rates were 1%, alright? And in 2020, it went to 10,000, alright? That's all I'm saying, Holmes, alright? That's all I'm saying. Alright, if there's ever a year for self-reflection, it was 2020, man. And you'd think in the year 2020, in which I deem the year of self-reflection, you would think that Mr. Superintendent of the school board of my county would self-reflect on his actions, even to, the beginning of this year. You'd think he'd do that, but no, because look, and this is the ridiculous thing, alright? Because I've already said why it's ridiculous that he would pin it on the kids, like saying, oh yeah, we're reopening schools because, the kids, or the students are, 1,000 students failed the first semester. But here's the funny part. Alright, here's the funny bit, alright? The reason why this whole thing is ridiculous and funny and this and that at the same time, and I'm mentioning self-reflection, is because my homie legit said, I'm going to be enforcing rules for, for in-person learning. Back in October, he did it. The rules are ridiculous. It pissed off a lot of teachers. It pissed off a lot of students. And he went ahead and continued with the plan. He let the insanity that was online school continue. And because of that, and because of the state that everyone was really in, I don't think he realized it, but he actually played a pivotal part in leading to the decline of 1,000 students failing in one way or the other. Probably not all of them, but... And here's my thinking, right? If you really look into it, if you've gathered everything that I've said, in some way, or shape, or form, you can really see that my man's was a legit snake chasing after his own tail. Like, man's is really gonna end up biting his own tail and be like, oh, I'm the cause of this. I'm the cause of all those failures. So, and look, and like half of this rant may not make sense. Like that little bit of like him being the center of it might not make sense, but trust me, if I explain it better, it'd make sense, and it makes sense in my head. So technically, yeah. But here's the thing, and here's the other thing, right? Even if everything that I'm saying isn't going to come to fruition, forcing, everyone back to school and having that by next week and all this kind of stuff during COVID, and even if that really doesn't come to fruition, my man's literally just said, yo, so I robbed a bank, and I showed everyone that I robbed the bank, right? And here's the money that I stole, but psych, you know what? I actually didn't. It was that one kid by Main Street Boulevard who did it. And then the cops are like, oh, it must be the kid from Main Street Boulevard then. And then they send the kid to prison. That's basically what my homie did. He was like, we're bringing everyone back, because of because of the failure of the students, which in some case I unintentionally ended up ruining the lives of, kind of. So, yeah. That's been my morning. And look, everything everything I've said, everything I just said in the 50 minutes that this episode has been running happened in between last night to this morning. So literally in the space of 8 to 9, maybe like 10 hours, I've learned all of this. Cut like 7 of those hours out because I was asleep. And in basically like, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours at best, I not only learned that, oh yeah, Saddest Animation new came out at 1 in the morning, right? And also the possibility of us all being ushered back to in-person learning. And also Superintendent Mr. Mans basically pinning all of the blame on the students when he was the one who robbed the bank. I'm like... And folks, you're wondering, well, man, that sounds like a great and depressing, rant that you just finished. But folks, I'm not done. I'm not done. Because I have one piece of just great news. Because I know for the past 40 minutes I've been ranting about, or 50 minutes I've been ranting about all this stuff. And sure, the saddest stuff was cool and all this kind of stuff. But I'm also going to mention another thing, and I know I mentioned this at the end of the last episode, man. And this is going to be the second to last thing, because the last thing that I have to say is genuinely amazing news, is genuinely just the greatest news of all time. So... There's been a lot of controversy. Like I said, this year has really just opened up, like if my homie from Scooby-Doo just opened up a can of worms. Alright? And all those worms really, like, dude, that can must have had like 1 million, like, fake worms in it. Because, holy lord, one person just opened it up and the whole world is just being flooded by gummy worms or whatever, dude. And... it's because within 5 days, I feel like 15 people have been canceled. And on top of that, and look, I'm pretty late to the party, but today I learned something really, really not cool about PETA. So if you don't know who PETA is, they're basically an association that basically helps animals and, like, brings them into shelters and finds them a home, and, really just cares about the livelihood of animals. And, they've done some pretty stupid things in the past year, like, for example, they said, oh yeah, Animal Crossing New Horizons is basically telling people to harm fish or something. And that it's not vegetarian enough. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty stupid, right? And then they also, but like the most prominent thing that I heard today, I heard something very surprising about them, because I knew they were kind of stupid, right? But I was listening to a Scrubby video, about like 30 minutes before I started recording this. And he was talking about PETA and how, like, they sent out this costume, or, like, they made this costume and made it available for Halloween. And this is a report way back in July. And apparently they made this costume surrounding, the Tiger King from the Netflix docu-series, The Tiger King, or just Tiger King. For $160-something, which is a lot, but, it's not the point of the rant. The point of the rant is that apparently Mr. Scrubs did some digging and found some real dirt on PETA, and kind of just made me so surprised and disgusted at the same time that I'm over here, like, I'm still in shock by what I learned. Alright, because I knew that PETA was kind of stupid, alright? But, dude, what the hell? Like, what is wrong with your brain? What leads you to think that this is a good idea? So apparently, and this is a long time ago, finna like 10 years ago, a full decade, right? Apparently the folks at PETA in 2011, alright? Apparently, and I don't know how to explain this in a complicated and confusing manner, so I'm just gonna give it straight to you. They basically had like, I don't know, saved like 500 dogs, right? Or 500 cats. And they gave away like 25 to a shelter. They put 25 in a shelter. They gave away 5 to families. And then they killed the other like 470 or so. And I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, what? So, dude, apparently back in the good old 11s, man's really, PETA really, like, protector of animals, top one, you know, like, lover of all animals, and, you know, vegetarian, you know, king. Basically, a decade ago, ended up just like over 1,000 animals. So yeah. Now that I think I've just like disturbed you and annoys you to the point with all this news, in which you're like, well, what's the like you gotta end this episode off peacefully. Come on, man. Well, I got some good news for you, folks. I have some really good news for you. Like, how is he gonna make this episode have a happy ending? Well, I'm gonna surprise you. So there's this little thing over here in the good old US of the Hay, where basically there's this test called the SAT, which is like a standardized test, that you have to pass in order to graduate from high school. And usually, like, depending on the score of said test or exam, you'll be allowed in certain colleges, or you'll be accepted in certain colleges or not. And the scores range from like really complicated. I think the highest score is like 4,000 or like 1,000. I don't know, dude. I really don't care about the scoring right now. But like you know, with these grades, you can get yourself into Harvard or like some hot topic, you know, top tier, you know, elite, you know, gamer status high school, colleges and universities. And so I personally don't want to get into a high top great college. Like, I don't want to go to Sky High, alright, man. I just want to go to wherever I can go to study what I want to study, which I will not reveal until the finale. Until the finale. But yeah, what was I gonna say? I already forgot. Oh yeah. So that's a test that you need to take. And the problem with the test is that it's actually quite difficult for me to complete. Because believe it or not, folks, even though I have even though I have even though I'm kind of, even though I'm smart and like I know what I'm doing, you know, I really pay attention and I'm focused, I actually retain what I'm learning. most of the time, I actually just fail it every time I take it, because I think it's like a yearly thing. And so today I learned something. Well, I not learned something, but I kind of heard about this other test for a few years called the ACT, or ACT. And ACT kind of is in the shadow, or is kind of like the background character, or the side character to the SAT, and not many people know ACT. But ACT is basically a much easier version of the SAT, and my teacher gave us an entire, like, presentation with, full of notes that I wrote down, about why the ACT is better than the SAT, or like the differences between them. And I kid you not, the or the ACT looks super easy, right? And on top of this, she constantly said, and when I mean constantly, I meant like every minute, like every 20 seconds probably, she said, look, I've been teaching for like a while now, and I'm like, apparently she said like she teaches at 3 different schools, and I've taught like a lot of students and this and that. But the one consistent thing throughout those schools is that when she has students that are failing the SAT, and then she tells them about the ACT, they pass with flying colors. And I'm like, oh, really? Really? And then she also said, there is nobody out there that's really good at the SAT and fails at the ACT. So I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. I want to take this ACT now because I want to be able to graduate. You know what I mean? And so she, by the glory of Lord and holiness, like the lady teacher, greatest teacher of all time, right, sends us a link to the website in which we can register for the ACT, either practice or like the real test itself. And I learned that it's for February. It's going to be in February. And so I can legitimately, like, prepare for the upcoming big exam that decides whether I can move on in my life education-wise or not. And it's also, like, super easy. And so I'm like, dude, that's pretty cool. I'm very, very excited. Like, look, I made it an apparent thing to really just everyone at the beginning of the year that I was not going to make my graduation a huge part of the year. But look, all I'm saying is that now that I know a bit more about the ACT, I don't know, man. My graduation arc might be something pretty poggers, alright? That's all I'm saying. Dude, that's, and I'm gonna end this episode off on this note. The fact that I started this series when I was in freshman year, and your homie out here almost about to graduate, is kind of the greatest thing in history. Also, what is this? Yeah, but anyway, that is all I have for all of you. I'm gonna go ahead, sleep. Oh, look at that, we have a stray record. These guys are pretty cool. These folks are also pretty cool. Yeah, that's really all I have for you. Nothing else that's, too big. I'm pretty sure I've just ranted my brain out for the full hour, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, in which, we'll really continue the Stahimi scheme, and, we'll get y'all get a bit of a longer episode with that. But anyway, thank y'all for listening to the rant. I'm probably going to title this episode, is it wrong for the world? Like, is it wrong for, yeah. I'll think of a title. Anyway, arigato gozaimasu for watching, folks. I'm gonna go do stuff. I got some homework. Maybe I won't be able to do exercise, but, I'll be able to do some stuff. And, yeah, arigato gozaimasu for watching, and bye. Also, my throat is hurting a lot, so I gotta go drink water. So, yeah, peace. Okay, folks, so I know that I talked about, the whole Dream SMP, saddest animation, 1 a.m. in the morning thing, and, how that was pretty crazy. This whole episode has kind of been talking about, the whole, oh my god, so much stuff has happened in one day, and that's crazy. Look, if you thought me going a little bit, overboard with saying, oh my god, new saddest animation, that's not as crazy, right? The superintendent thing, that's a little bit crazier, right? The whole I found an easy way to graduate thing, that's pretty cool, right? Right. And you think, wow, a lot of stuff has happened in this child's day, in this absolute, just kingpin of a lord. So much has happened in his day, right? And you think, okay, well, he already ended the episode. He already said arigato gozaimasu for watching and sayonara. No. Folks, I legit had to come back to record the ending of the episode because, and I kid you not, it's been an hour, alright? It's been an hour and a little bit over more than an hour since I finished recording this. Dudes, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. Alright, if y'all thought, oh yeah, saddest animation, the whole, drama with the school stuff, and the whole graduation, I'm talking about all the accusations, all the Twitter drama and whatever that's going on this year, whatever have it be. Everything. Dude, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Alright, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I have one more thing to report. Alright, I have one more thing to report. The U.S. Capitol, alright, has been stormed. Legit, the U.S. Capitol has been stormed. And if you don't know what the U.S. Capitol is, the 3 branches of government. Yeah, one of them buildings, alright? Man's basically in front of the White House. Look at this! Dude, literally, it's been going on for, a few hours. I don't know what to say. I legit don't know. I came downstairs and I'm like, okay, what's going on in the news? And look at this. So basically, I gotta explain this to y'all. Basically, people stormed the Capitol, right? People stormed the Capitol. And when I mean storm the Capitol, I don't mean it's just like a protest. They legit broke into the Capitol. People, that, were working in the Capitol, had to be evacuated. There were people holding arms, trying to, defend themselves from the people that were raiding the Capitol. And one lady got shot and died, and that's tragic, but oh my lord, dude, if somebody ends up dying in this type of situation, something's gone crazy. What the fuck? Look, I heard that they've sent millions, not millions, but they've called for I'm pretty sure the Navy or something to come over here, services. Dude, they got the entire police force in the universe at this point in about an hour, and that's not even enough to take on all these people. Legit, they broke into the Capitol. They have control of it. They sieged it. Alright, they legit sieged it. This is dude, this isn't a video game. Man's thinking they're all in GTA. What the hell is this? Man's thinking that they're playing, I don't know. What is going on? I'm so surprised. What the hell? Dude, this is like The Purge. What in the world is going on? How has so much stuff happened in one day? I legit, before went to sleep, I saw a saddest animation in my day do be bending off, wait, no, ending off, by seeing that people, citizens, human beings living in the U.S. have stormed the U.S. Capitol. What the Anyway, I'll talk more about this tomorrow. I got some ads for watching. Oh my fucking lord, this is terrible.